Hello and welcome to the Investing Bros. I am Tshroom in for Tim Warren, who is having to make a last minute move down to Florida due to some flooding in his house. We'll be praying for him, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Bros, things are getting a little bit wild in the world of cryptocurrency as Donald Trump has signaled that his tariffs are going to be delayed until a later date. And RFK has been confirmed as the Human Health Secretary for the United States government. We'll be getting into all that and more on the other side of the intro. All right, how we doing, Smay?
I'm vibing. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, I'm itching to go golfing.
Got a little golf plan?
I do. I'm going to be golfing with Tim this weekend, and I'm going to beat the brakes off of him.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, and usually we are joined by Tim Warren, but today he is traveling due to some flooding in his house, so he's got to get that sorted out and apparently go down and play some golf with Smay in the process. Smay,
Mm-hmm.
I am doing better than I deserve. Not that you care,
Oh,
but we're
sorry.
gonna.
I didn't even ask.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's the one note I gave him in the pre-show planning was just remember to ask me how I'm doing. So you failed, and we'll talk about it after the stream. But
uh,
that's okay because I'm still, regardless, better than I deserve. We'll jump into the bubbles here really quickly. Tau down 7.2. Caspa getting a nice bid up 7.1 behind me. There you can see it. Trump also up 8.5 and Lido up 4.9. That's some of the notable names that are up. Cardano is markedly up. Injective, ENA, and more are actually getting a bid here. Chainlink down 2.5%. Dot down 2.5. BNB correcting a bit here, down 3.4%. We'll be looking at some charts. Let me know in the chat what are some tickers you'd like me to do a bit of TA on, and we will get to that on the other side of the news. Speaking of which, let's jump into it. Donald Trump, maybe you've heard of him. Trump tariffs will have delay. May start April 1st. So April 1st is when we can expect, and when, more importantly, the market will now be expecting some of the retaliatory tariffs. That's right, retaliatory tariffs to be implemented. That was given in a press conference today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just a quick reaction, this is what the NASDAQ looked like in reaction to that. Got a nice bid to the upside there. And this is not necessarily what has happened over on Bitcoin, though. For Bitcoin, we've just seen a continued move slightly lower here, albeit still well intact in this sideways channel and still well below any kind of reversal cloud or any kind of sign of a major sell-off. We'll do a little bit more Bitcoin technical analysis here in just a few minutes. We'll continue with our news, some more bearish pressure pulling down on risk assets today. January PPI inflation unexpectedly rises to 3.5%, above expectations of 3.2%. Now, I didn't say it, but Zero Hedge did. Zero Hedge interpreting this at huge upward revision for PPI, almost as if the previous administration wasn't being exactly honest about how bad inflation is. Of course, we would never say anything like that here in the Investing Bros, but Zero Hedge, you can't put it past them. Some big news here for Caspa. Caspa is looking like it's got some futures listing over on Coinbase, and I believe Tim was just talking about how there hadn't been any chatter around Caspa getting on Coinbase. Well, now they're on it. Well, at least the futures, at least the perpetual contracts are. And this is official from Coinbase Traders account over on X. Coinbase Advance is adding support for Caspa and SPX perpetuals futures. So that is a pretty big welcome headline there for Caspa hodlers, of which I count myself among the horde. Will continue to move here. 21 shares proposes adding staking for Ethereum's ETF. Of course, we also commented here, Vanguard, what did they think, because they said no to the Bitcoin ETFs for their clients because it didn't spin off a yield. Now, this would spin off a yield. Maybe Vanguard will change their tone. In any case, it's a big day there for 21 shares, and obviously Ethereum should continue to get tailwinds. National Bank of Canada has purchased $2 million worth of Bitcoin. Not too much to say there other than it's bullish. Look at those bulls just marching on down the line. $2 million, not that much. Just going to be super honest about that. However, this is a national bank and this is Bitcoin ETF. So it is definitely a huge step in the right direction. Maybe their next purchase will be a bit more significant, but we'll take what we can get, right? Christopher Inks, friend of the stream, said, as I mentioned in today's Beard and Bitcoin podcast, historically, whenever these metrics are met, exchange Bitcoin levels are low, OTC desk Bitcoin levels are low, and Bitcoin network activity is low, we see price rally impulsively higher. We're currently seeing those metrics right now. Jumping back over to the Bitcoin chart here, you do not see an impulsive move higher just yet. So what are some things that may be lagging on the Bitcoin price? We will continue to talk about those. But let's keep moving on here. Another bullish headline, former BitFury chief legal officer and OCC senior deputy comptroller Jonathan Gould has been named by President Donald Trump to lead the office of the comptroller of the currency. So you got another excellent member coming to the Bitcoin team over in Washington, specifically the White House under Donald Trump. And finally here, huge, Senate confirms RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to serve under Trump's health secretary. Now, some people might be thinking, okay, you guys talk about politics too much. This is hyper relevant because Robert F. Kennedy actually spoke at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville in 2024. And guess what? Today is a very special day because today we're announcing we have a 10% off the Las Vegas Bitcoin conference. That's right, 10% off. Check out the link in the description below, and you will be able to access those that discount code BROZ. If you go to my screen, Smay, I've got it pulled up here where you can see. Just use BROZ for 10% off after clicking this link right here. So awesome conference. Crux and I will absolutely be at that conference, and we will be glad to shake your hand. Let us know in the Discord if you need help setting that up. But this is an amazing opportunity that you don't want to miss. All right, bros, let me give you all a little bit of a zoom out perspective of what I'm seeing. I'm seeing selling. I'm seeing selling on the Bitcoin side and the altcoin side. We do see some altcoins shining today, but overall, there does continue to be a bit of a gray cloud hanging over altcoins and over Bitcoin to some extent. However, there are some big catalysts coming up, and I don't mean just quantitative easing, although that is the big one, so to speak. Quantitative easing, as we've talked about the last couple of shows this week, we may not get it. We may not get it until much later in the year. However, I have compiled for you all the next most bullish catalysts that are coming up that you cannot ignore. Every single day here at the Investing Bros, Tim and I tirelessly study these markets with Crux and Smay, and we seek to understand what is coming next, what altcoins are best to purchase, and when is the best time to purchase them. And I can tell you, all of us have almost every penny of our net worth in crypto, and it's responsibly invested in across a diversity of cryptos. For me, it's a lot of Bitcoin. Just to be frank, I love Bitcoin. That's what I like to invest in. But I also invest my time, and that's what our team invests our time in as well. If you want to join our community, go on over to the link in the description where you can get access to our Bro Lux membership, and that is going to be found right here. Bro Lux membership link, where you can take that next step and invest in your trading and investing career. If you're not ready to make that step yet and invest in and join our paid membership, you can also access the link right here to become a member of our free Discord where you can ask questions and be on the road to success. and answer some of those curiosities you may have about crypto and investing in general. And anything else you want to ask, to be honest with you can come into the Discord, ask whatever you would like. But we'd really love to see you there. And if you've been watching the show for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks now, and you've been hearing us talk about our Discord and it's sounding pretty good to you, maybe it's time to go ahead and pull the trigger and make the decision to invest in your future of trading and investing. Let's get into these catalysts that I believe are actually going to put the wind in the sails for altcoins and brush away this kind of dark cloud that's been over altcoins of bearishness and bring money back into this space. Unlock some liquidity, because at the end of the day, you do need money to flow into these altcoins, to flow into Bitcoin, and to buoy the price and find support, find the bottom before we can go higher. Let's get into one of the biggest ones right here. In 5 days, bros, FTX Bahama repayments will begin on February 18th. It's estimated that more than $16 trillion, $16 billion was the repayment amount. This is how much will be being returned to people who were victims of the FTX shabacle. Now, of course, not all 16 billion of this is going to go to people who are going to be able to take any action, and a even smaller percentage is going to go to people who would put that back into crypto. But this is $16 billion, and some percentage of that is likely to flow back into Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, Cardano, AVAX, name your favorite altcoin. This is going to be a liquidity up event. And starting on February 18th, I would expect altcoin prices to try to take some price exploration to the upside. But it doesn't stop there. I've got two more catalysts. Trump's nominee for Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, passed key cloture vote in the Senate. This actually happened today. Okay, now this doesn't necessarily shed any light on the next big catalyst date, because it is uncertain when he will be confirmed, when that vote will take place in the Senate, the final vote. This was just an administrative vote. But this is going to be another big catalyst, as Howard Lutnick is definitely seen as a key part, extremely key part of the crypto and Bitcoin contingent there at the White House. I do have some more details here for you on that. The exact date for the final Senate confirmation vote has not yet been confirmed. It will occur no earlier than Tuesday, February 18th. Okay, so it's not going to happen until around then. Happens to coincide with this February 18th date. I do believe that's a coincidence. Don't read too much into that. Final catalyst is here. Most Americans can expect their refunds to arrive early February to late May. Obviously, we are kind of reaching the end of early February. Americans are starting to get their tax returns back. In America, you give a bunch of money to the government, and then they figure out a number to give back to you. Is it a silly system? It is. It's very silly. Hopefully it's coming to an end, but this is the way that it works here in the United States. In 2024, 329 billion was returned in tax refunds, and in 2023 it was even more. It was 461.2 billion returned to Americans. Now, similar to the story with FTX, of course, a lot of that money is just going to go sit in savings, or maybe it's going to pay off a student loan payment, or it's going to buy a new car, or it's going to buy some new dog food, right? On average, Americans can expect around $2,000 to $4,000 back in their refunds. Of course, there's all kinds of exceptions to that. Some people won't get anything back. Some people will get hundreds of thousands back, but the average American will get around $2,000 to $4,000 back. Some portion of that money is going to go into risk assets, whether it be the S&P 500, whether it be Dogecoin or Trump coin, or whether it be Bitcoin and Ethereum, a much more sound investment in the crypto space. These are big numbers, and when you couple this with a higher concentration that's much more certain to go back into crypto in that 16 billion number from FTX, this is a glut of liquidity that will come into the markets around next week, right? When it comes to the FTX date, that February 18th date is when those payments will be starting. Now, of course, I'm not saying that money is absolutely going to flow into crypto, but that is a release valve. That is an opening of the gates of liquidity. That is an opportunity for the markets to take a step and prove themselves and upward price exploration for altcoins. Same thing here with the tax refund. Not all of this money is going to go into crypto and pump our bags, but some of it will. And it is a higher chance probability that prices will go up as a result of this catalyst kind of coming online. Now, I have one more catalyst for you all, but before I get to it, I do want to check in on the comments and see how much I am being torched in the comments. Let's check it out here. Tariff delayed, how? Well, Robin, the way that it works is that the executive branch has all the power when it comes to tariffs, with few exceptions. And so if Donald Trump decides to eliminate all the tariffs right now, he can do that. If he wants to put all the tariffs on and 100% tariff on every single country and every single market, he can do that too. So he has complete authority. That's how the tariffs are delayed, because he said they're delayed. That's how it works. If you don't like it, you got to vote in a different executor, right? You got to find a different president. B-Ball Golf said, "Yo, bros, I'm late, but I'm watching Tshroom talk faster than he actually talks in real life." That's right. I don't know what it is. I think Smay turned me on 2x speed, and so I'm really exhausted at this point, but I can't stop talking this fast. Redline said, "Oh gosh, here goes the FTX money is all going back into the market after they got burned hard. They're just going to jump right back in because they've been waiting for that money to get back in." So Redline makes a good point. Again, I already have conceded that not all the $16 billion is going to go back into crypto, and there will be a percentage of those of the money that's going to go back to the victims who absolutely need that money for, mortgage payment or paying off a medical debt or something essential, right? But of course, some of that $16 billion is going to go back into AVAX, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin. It's also going to go into Tesla or Apple stock, you name it. Some of it's going to go into risk. It is a simple exercise in understanding liquidity and rotation of capital in markets. So Redline, thank you for making that clear. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. Thank you all, bros, so much for tuning in. Make sure that you're smashing the like button, or at least clicking it. We would encourage you to smash the like button, but clicking it is also acceptable. Tshroom, maybe not enough caffeine. Okay. So I expected to be torched, and I was really more just encouraged that you all are impressed with my rhetorical pace skills. So that's really, really good. Redline said, you on point, bro, Tshroom. So what did the PPI data say? So the Dylan asking. So we'll jump back to the PPI data. Looks like Dylan missed it here. January PPI inflation unexpectedly rises to 3.5%, above expectations of 3.2%. And remember, the Fed has a dual mandate. On the labor side of the dual mandate, there's labor and then there's inflation, right? Those are the two mandates. On the inflation side of the mandate, bad news is bad for risk holders. Okay. So when we get a bad print, that actually should make the markets shed a bit, right? On the labor side, when we get bad news, that's actually good news for risk holders, risk asset holders. Why? Because an uptick in unemployment rate actually incentivizes Jerome Powell over at the Fed to cut rates, further introducing liquidity and the velocity of money expansion. So PPI getting a higher print, getting a hot print is not favorable for asset holders. However, Bitcoin, altcoins seem to be taking it in stride, as we do have some green on the screen over on the crypto bubbles. All right, let's see what else we have here. I like your episode, Tshroom. Cool. I really appreciate that. That's really great. And if you're just tuning in for the first time and you're asking, where's Tim? Well, first of all, how did you know that there even is someone named Tim if you're watching for the first time? But usually we are joined by a man with a much more illustrious beard and a much more passion to spend time on the charts, of which I should probably spend a little bit more time. Bros, today was a big day for Kaspa. Let's take a look at the Kaspa charts. We'll take a look at Bitcoin one more time, and then we'll probably go ahead and call it a day. Again, thank you all so much for jumping in and asking your questions. Kyle Fields, thank you so much for joining. It was great to see so many familiar faces in here, curious about what's going on with the crypto markets. All right, well, from the bottom of this sell-off back here in February, Kaspa is now to live price up 23.8%, a testament that you don't want to sleep on the second most popular proof of work in the space. not by market cap, but by coverage by the investing bros, right? So Caspa, a very popular proof of work, and few other cryptocurrencies that are popular these days are proof of work. If you're interested in understanding more about the difference between proof of work and proof of stake, check out our fundamentals channel where we talk much more about the fundamentals of cryptocurrency projects over at Alpha Bros. The link is actually, I think it's one of the first links in the description. But right now, you do have a buy rating here from Caspa on the 4-hour. So this is a indicator that we've partnered with called Lux Algo, and it shows when traders may enter a trade to the upside, when the probability is tilted in favor of those who might go long versus when you might go short. It doesn't stop there, though. The Lux Algo oscillator is a part of the Lux Algo indicator pack, and this shows you when money flow is positive and when the hyperwave momentum is in the favor of the bulls, as it is now. And on the 4-hour, you can see that Caspa's hyperwave on the 4-hour did not spend very much time down below this 50 line. We got the reversal here, did not get a reversal down here. Big blank slate here. Would have liked to have seen probably a delta or a fat dot down below here, but you are still technically under a reversal back here. So I don't know if that technically counts, but we're seeing what we need to see here on the Lux Algo oscillator. When it comes to the MACD, again, on the 4-hour, I am seeing genuinely good signs getting back up above the 0 line, or the MACD lines on the 4-hour at least. Let's go up a time frame and see what we can't pull out. Up on the daily chart for Caspa, again, we're looking at Caspa because they had an announcement, a positive announcement from Coinbase, that futures, perpetual futures, are being listed on the Coinbase's trading platform. So that's really, really cool. All right, so as you can see here on the daily chart, we're still under a sell rating, actually. So it's because we haven't been able to cross back up above this line here. Once we do that, then it should flip and signal a buy rating. However, down on the MACD, I'm going ahead and saying this is very bullish, right? Now, it was bullish, even more bullish, once we get an actual cross here. We haven't gotten this cross of the MACD lines yet, but as soon as you curl positive here and you get a consistent follow through in that curl, that's pretty bullish, right? Especially now that this is leading to the first green histogram there on the MACD that we have seen for several bars, going back all the way to January 26th was the last time we saw a green histogram. So the MACD's oh, did you see that? It just ticked back red. So this is live trading, right? This is live price data, at least. So anything can happen, including the green histogram not printing. Now, we do have 3.5 hours before this candlestick finishes printing, and then we'll move into our next daily candlestick. My guess is that we probably do end up bullish, but either way, you're getting waning red histograms here, deceleration in the bear's grip on the price action for Caspa, and that is not generally bullish, that is categorically bullish. So that's really, really good for Caspa, the proof of work coin. Down here on the daily Lux Algo oscillator, we're wrapping up here, bros. So make sure you're smashing the like button. We do have both a reversal dot here on the hyperwave as well as a reversal delta here. That is a key setup, especially when in tandem with the trifecta completed here with money flow moving in a positive direction. When this gets green, it's just a signal of bullishness that's really, really highly reliable. It's something we really, really like. And so when those three things line up, I'll show them to you again. When you get a reversal dot here, when you get a reversal delta here, and then you see money flow coming positive, it's hard to beat that. It doesn't get much more bullish. It's signaling that price discovery to the downside has concluded, right? And as Caspa holders know, there unfortunately has been some pretty overwhelming price discovery to the downside after we broke through here down below this uptrending line of support that held for a very, very long time. That was disappointing to see. However, we did jump back into this uptrending line of support back here from 2023, actually, that became a little bit more relevant. Now, we didn't hold on that line, but that line is kind of in the general area right here from 8 cents to 9 cents, this zone, which does look like the early indication is that did mark the bottom there for Caspa. As we wrap up here, one more thing about Caspa that a lot of people don't realize is that this is a proof of work coin, right? So there's a different buyer and seller dynamic. There's a different supply of selling incentive that exists because people are mining this coin. Unlike Ethereum, unlike Solana, unlike AVAX, name your favorite proof of stake coin, the buyers and sellers are not necessarily making decisions based on their earning the proof of stake earnings that they're getting. It's a different dynamic. They're not having to plug in a machine in order to get proof of stake rewards. Whereas with the way that the proof of work network over at Caspa works, they absolutely do have to make that calculation and take into consider energy costs. So that's why, I would argue, and I could be wrong, that's where I would argue that Caspa's chart looks a lot different from kind of what the standard is over at Ethereum. Solana still hasn't made a huge comeback yet, but these last two daily wicks have only brought us down to 188, holding strong, keeping the status of putting in higher lows here, 3 in a row times, showing that Solana does indeed have the strength that people have put faith into it for. SUI, oh man, if you didn't pick up any SUI, you're still in a zone at this point where it's still pretty favorable, down below the midline of the Bollinger Band on the daily. Might even it's looking like it's kind of getting rejected there off of the midline of the Bollinger Band, so you might even get a bit more discounted SUI. But this one, the story of 2024 was dominance from SUI in the fourth quarter in Q4. So, could that dominance be realized in 2025 again as we see a push to the upside? That would be my bet. Yeah, I think that's where we'll leave it, bros. Thank you all so much for joining in. If you thought that was TA was good, you thought that I brought some helpful insights, make sure that you tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where TA Tim comes on and goes much more in depth. Smay, let me take a little bit of a gulp here. I've a couple more notes to give the good bros, but how are you feeling at this point in the stream?
Oh, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. I gotta just say, stay strong, hodl on, something, something. I hope the Steelers sign Justin Fields. I love Coke Zero. I love golf. Make sure you hold your Bitcoin. Don't sell it. All right. Make sure you, I don't know, buy more cryptocurrency. Whatever. Are you done with your gulp?
I am done with my gulp. Thank
All
you
right.
so
Back to
much
you.
for definitely not just filling time there, Smay, while I hydrate. Got a $5 super chat here from Loaded Turtles saying, great job. Greatly appreciate you, bud. I feel that appreciation. I really do. Thank you so much. Got a couple of notes for you all who are out there and you're saying, Tshroom, don't end the stream early. I haven't had enough crypto talk for the day. It doesn't have to stop here. Jump into the Discord where the crypto chat never ends. In fact, right after the stream, Crux was telling me that they have a portfolio review where pro bro members and above have access to a portfolio review session. Jump in and set up your Pro Bros account membership today if you do not have that yet. Guys, the Discord is super awesome. Tim and I and Crux and Smay and the bros are in there answering questions that you might have about crypto and understanding investing and saving and all of those types of good things that we know lead to prosperity and generational wealth growth. And I will have a Q&A session. If you're like, man, I don't even know about this Crux guy. I don't know about the Discord. I just want to listen to this guy more. I've got a Q&A a little bit later today. It's probably going to start up around 4:20. That's right. You do the math. And I will see the bros there. They, of course, know me. And we have a ton of fun in our Q&A session. If you're looking at these charts and you're like, man, I want to know what those lines mean, we have courses, technical analysis courses that help you understand what they mean. And we take it a step further. If you signed up for LuxAlgo and you're using LuxAlgo on TradingView and you want a little bit more guidance and clarity on how to use LuxAlgo to its full potential, really squeeze the lemon and maximize your profitability in trading, well, we've got courses for those as well that Tim has made. It's all in the description of this video, the links to our Discord. Bros, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a real pleasure. There are many catalysts coming up. The tax rebate season, the FTX $16 billion return to the clients there, and so much more. And the mother of all is the White House that is gathering up so much bullish momentum to bring excellent transparency for the crypto industry and quantitative easing, that elusive catalyst that we don't know when it will come, but it should. Broz, thank you so much. Join us here at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining. I've been Tshroom, and have a great rest of your evening.